Hello everybody and welcome to episode 60 of the Crochet Cakes podcast. I cannot believe it's already episode 60. I feel like celebrating. My name is Clarissabeth and you can find me anywhere on the internet as Crochet Cakes. I am mainly on Instagram, Ravelry, here on YouTube. You can also choose to visit my blog or follow my blog, which is crochetcakes.com. You may also contact me by email using crochetcakespodcast@gmail.com. You may also join the Ravelry group for this podcast, and I encourage you to because I have an announcement to make, but it's going to be a bit later on in the show. By searching Crochet Cakes Podcast in Crochet Cakes Podcast in the groups tab on Ravelry. And I'm also Crochet Cakes on Ravelry in case I didn't mention it. So that was all a lot in one go. I am recording on Wednesday, the 13th of February, which means that by the time I edit and upload this, it will probably be Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I hope you have some fun stuff planned if you celebrate it. I know that it's celebrated differently in different parts of the world, right? So comment down below and if you want to share how you plan on celebrating Valentine's Day or how you celebrate Valentine's Day in your culture, or if you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, it's Thursday, you should be celebrating that it's almost Friday and it'll be the end of another work week. You know, if your work week is Monday to Friday, my work week is essentially Monday to Sunday. So, yay! But yes, what am I planning on doing tomorrow? Well, today, after I finish filming this podcast, I have to go to the supermarket, grab some baking supplies to make some sugar cookies so Edison can take to work and share with his friends. And I've got all the supplies ready to make a chocolate mousse, which is really exciting because my day is going to consist of chocolate mousse, a nice Pinot Noir, and a beautiful cheese board. Or some Merlot, I'm undecided. Maybe I'll go wild and have some Prosecco. I don't know. But that's what my day is going to consist of. And of course, it's tradition, and even though I don't live with Mom, it's still a tradition. We have to watch A Walk in the Clouds. It's the best Valentine's Day movie in my opinion, and it's got nothing to do with Valentine's Day, but it's a romantic comedy with Keanu Reeves when he was young, and a lot of other very famous actors who performed beautifully in this film, and I love A Walk in the Clouds. If you've never seen it, go watch it. Don't bother searching for it on Netflix. I already tried. Amazon Prime does not have it, so, you know, just don't. I am going to try and find other means of watching it because I don't own the DVD anymore, but who knows, maybe I'll order. Well, if I wanted to watch Valentine's Day, I should have ordered it yesterday on Amazon, so it will get here with Prime, but I'm still gonna try and find a way of watching it. Who knows, maybe I'll just have FaceTime Mom and have her put the phone so it faces the movie and I can watch the movie with her. I don't know, but it's a beautiful film about love and the families we can create and wine. Yes. Anyway, this is episode 60 of the Crochet Cakes podcast, and episode 60 of the Crochet Cakes podcast will involve some channel admin, some books, some knitting, some crochet, and some Etsy shop business, which I also forgot to mention at the beginning. I do own an Etsy store, and you can find it by searching Dainty by Crochet Cakes on Google or on Etsy, and all this information, as always, will be in the down bar below with all clickable links so that you may enjoy all the information that I'm providing down below. So, what should we start with? I feel I should address I don't have any strict Valentine's Day makes, which is, I'm a bit sad about it, but I'm excited because Mom, who is Inspired Professor on Ravelry with capital I, capital P, inspired_professor on Instagram, and has a Mind and Muse Crafts podcast and website, all this will be linked down below, of course. She posted a photo tutorial on how to do a felted mixed craft heart. So it's a felted heart, and then you can embroider on it, crochet on it, add jewelry, add all this sorts of stuff. And I really want to try and make it and post it up with my embroidery hoops. So if you've watched before, you'll notice the setup is a bit different, and that is because I got some studio lights, which is great because today is gray and rainy and dreary and overall a nice weather to curl around a fire if there was a fire, which there isn't, but either way, it's perfect weather for hot cocoa and crocheting and all that beautiful stuff. But the cable to connect the studio lights is really short, so I had to face my craft corner instead of away from my craft corner. And it's beautiful because you can see all the stuff that I love that I'm surrounded by. So some of the stuff, most of the stuff you can see right now, Mom gifted me, but there are a couple of stuff around here that I received as presents. One beautiful Alice in Wonderland poster that I received from Sinead, who is Dormikar _ on Instagram. She's beautiful. Like, her art is gorgeous, and I commented on one of her digital prints and I said I really like this, and she told me that she had it. I'm gonna go grab it and I'm gonna share it with you. Right, so she told me she had it in print and if she would be willing to send it to me if I wanted to. So here it is out of any glass, so you can really appreciate it. It's a beautiful, beautiful print, and I love it. I love Alice in Wonderland, and so yes, you can see that even though I don't have any hearts on, I'm surrounded by things I love in this Valentine's Day prequel, I guess we can call it. But first things first, speaking about love and spreading some love and things we love, I love a good make-along, don't you? And it's been a year, well, last October, since I posted a make-along. So I was wondering if you guys would like to participate in a vintage make-along. It's not restricted to crochet or knitting. If you sew, felt, weave, spin, do wool paintings, any of these crafts that are fiber related, you can enter this make-along. And I already opened the thread because, which this is another news, I actually uploaded an episode in Spanish, my first ever Spanish podcast. It's also on this channel. It's all in a different playlist if you like to search the playlists, but it's there, and I already announced it last week that I was going to open this thread. So I opened this thread on Ravelry for the vintage make along. Essentially, there are no rules. There's only one rule. There are no rules, but there's only one rule. Clarissa, please. There is one rule. Whatever you make has to be related to fiber, so fabric or animal fibers. So that's rule number one. And the other rule is essentially that it has to be related to vintage somehow. Maybe you used a vintage stitch pattern, maybe you used some vintage inspired yarn, maybe you used a vintage pattern per se for a garment or embroidery or whatever, what have you. Whatever, literally. If you use colors that were retro, it still counts. So for example, my Secret Garden dress, all the colors are very 70s. It would totally count for that vintage Mal, guys. I'm serious. If you want any more details, then go head on over to Ravelry. I will be writing a blog post if you're interested in that as well. And also, if you just want to do something small with vintage stitches, you can head on over to my blog and look at all the photo tutorials that I have posted for stitches from the Vogue Dictionary of Crochet Stitches, which are from the 1980s or so. So they're vintage, because vintage is 25 years or older. So there's that. And I've created a bundle on Ravelry for vintage inspired patterns. So if you want to add any, just let me know and I will add them to that list. And you can also check out my board on Pinterest. I do have a board on Pinterest. Just search crochet cakes on Pinterest. That's me. And you will find a board that just says vintage, and it's basically all about vintage inspiration. So we've got vintage crochet patterns, vintage knitting patterns, vintage setups, vintage furniture. So all designed to help you decide what you would like to make for this vintage make along. I'm announcing it now to give you guys time to explore all these ideas. I'm going to keep adding to my board on Pinterest, and I'm going to keep adding to the Ravelry bundle until the 1st of March, which is the official MAL start date. Now, if you start now because you already know what you want to make, that's fine too. And the MAL will run until the 1st of May. So it'll go from the 1st of March because March is my birthday and I love all things vintage, to the 1st of May because I'm getting married in May. Yeah, I feel crazy about that. But yes, that's the first thing I wanted to share with you guys. The other thing, like I mentioned, I did upload my first ever podcast in Spanish. So if you speak the lingo, then you may head on over there and watch the video and tell me what you think. It was very weird because I'm not used to speaking in Spanish and, well, you know, to the camera. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, in case you don't know, so Spanish is my main language, so to speak. But I've never recorded anything in Spanish. So it felt, it's, you can go and watch it, guys. It's fun, at least. And I'm still me in a different language. I'm still me. So I think that would be it for channel admin. I don't have any Valentine's Day makes, but I can share a bit of history with you of Valentine's Day if you would like. So Valentine's Day can essentially be traced back to the Roman Empire, and there was an emperor who outlawed getting married because he felt that married soldiers were not as committed to being soldiers as married ones. As unmarried ones, sorry. Because when you're married, you create a family, you have kids, you don't really want to die for your empire, do you? So rumor has it that there was a priest named Valentine who married couples in secret. So it was, you know, against the law at that time to marry, so he married them in secret, and he was caught. When he was caught, he was brought onto the emperor. He was sentenced, I forgot the name of the family, but he was basically in the dungeons of this family's house, and the daughter of the family and him fell in love, and on the day of his execution, which was the 14th of February, he signed the letter, "Your Valentine." You know, the letter that he wrote to his love, he signed it, "Your Valentine." So there we go, just a little bit of the history of Valentine's Day. And I don't know about you, but whenever a holiday pops up, I love learning all I can about it. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful that we have all this history available to us, and we can learn about heroes and anti-heroes and just normal people living their everyday lives who somehow made it into history books. You know, we're not all Alexander the Great, but there is magic in our ordinary days, and I think that's something that we forget. I know I often forget the magic of ordinary days, which coincidentally is a Hallmark Channel movie. There is a Hallmark Channel movie called The Magic of Ordinary Days. But anyway, how about we address the elephant in the room? You may or may not notice that I am wearing something that I happened to be crocheting the last time I chatted with you. And that something is, let me just put, sorry, I had some stuff in my lap and I'm trying to get rid of it so I can stand up and share with you guys this beautiful something. So this is a pattern that I am designing. I've already wound up the yarn to retest the size small. I have to wind up the yarn to test the medium, and then it would be the large. So I'm gonna see how we fare with all that work. But this is a pattern that I absolutely love. I think this is the best thing I've designed, and I cannot wait until it's written so I can share it with you guys. And I'm gonna stand up to give you that awkward view. Oh my god, I love this so much. So I will put a picture up of what the blouse looked like before I blocked it, and you can see what it looks like now because the difference is significant. It's a lot, actually. I have not actually had a proper photo shoot with it. I was going to try to do that today, but it'll probably have to wait until tomorrow because I have a lot on my plate today. I already read to you what I have to do. So it's a lot on my plate, and even though I have a tripod, it will require me to actually set up responsibly. But anyway, back to this pattern. So this pattern, I am calling it Las Nubes, and it is in honor of so many things. So first of all, it's in honor of the yarn. This yarn I received from a Knit Crate Artisan Crate membership. If you are unfamiliar, I am an ambassador for Knit Crate, and for last year they contacted me and asked if I would be willing to become an ambassador, and I said yes. So they were only supposed to send, I think they said they were going to send 3 months subscription, but I got Knit Crate subscription last month in January too, so they've been so freaking generous, and I've been a bit remiss in trying all their different yarns. I've got currently this project made, and I made a cowl with the December Knit Crate, and I also am making the Aster top with Knit Crate yarn as well. The Aster top, we won't talk about that right now because it'll ruin the happiness of this beauty. I'm going to try and take some awkward pictures today to post them up here too because this deserves a spotlight, and I do have a spotlight. So, right, talking about yarn, first things first. So I received this in a Knit Crate Artisan Crate membership. This yarn is beautiful, and I'm going to put it up here so you can actually get to see how the silk, because it is a silk blend, just illuminates. It's just so luminous, and it has tones of purple, bluish purple. It's basically bluish purple, bluish gray, and silver. And I do say silver because the silk just gives it that there we go, that luminous look, and it's gorgeous. It is a single ply yarn, and I don't know if you can appreciate the halo, but it's got halo. It is a single ply yarn, which made it a bit difficult to frog because all the little hairs were catching, and I'm trying to show you guys the halo, but if I put it too close to the camera, the light, but you can see the halo, but no light. Right, so this is Shalimar Yarns. The base is Air, and it is a, sorry, I'm trying not to cover my face, and it is a 70% superwash merino, 20% kit mohair, and 10% silk. And it is called Airy, I believe. and the colorway is Love and Happiness. So this top is called Las Nubes because the base is air, and as soon as I received this yarn, I knew I wanted to create something as airy and beautiful an image as the description of the yarn brought to my imagination, and just something open, lacy, beautiful, you know, something evocative that just provided that view of you sitting on a beach under an umbrella, sipping a beautiful mojito and just soaking up rays while having a beautiful, cool breeze caress your skin. And that is what I had in my mind when I got this yarn. It is so luxurious and soft and beautiful. I'm a bit not unhappy, but I do not think it was the wisest decision to test a pattern that was just in my head with single ply yarn, because it is a little bit difficult to frog, but it was beautiful to work with, and it's so soft and luxurious. I cannot emphasize this enough. I believe Knit Crate still has this available. You can click the link below and then go to the shop tab on their website, and you will be able to find this Shalimar yarn. It is beautiful, and guess what, guys? For the size small, which is the one I'm wearing, I used 150 grams of yarn. So that was 2 hanks of yarn that I received in the artisan crate, and I still have 50 grams of it left over. It is amazing. I fully thought I was not going to have enough yarn, and I considered many times purchasing it, another hank of yarn, but I was just like, nope, let me try and work with what I have, and then if it's not enough, then I will, you know, move forward and purchase something else. But it all worked out in the end. So what can I tell you about this without giving away my secrets? It is crocheted bottom up in the round, and it's got a reverse raglan. I call it reverse raglan because it's a bottom up raglan sleeve. So how I basically designed this was that you would crochet 12 inches of the body. This was really cropped. I'm gonna stand up again. So this was really cropped, but as you can see, before blocking, it reached here, the bottom of the pineapple stitch, and now after blocking, it is just beautiful. So it is made with pineapple stitch. It's bottom up, and the body has extended single crochets for comfort, openness, but also sturdiness. I'm not wearing a top under this. It is just a bra and this beautiful top. So yeah, it's bottom up, seamless completely. Well, I did join in the round, but what I mean is you don't have to sew anything except for the sleeves, because once you reach the 12 inches that I designated for in the pattern, then you kind of just essentially you split for the sleeves there, right? And you crochet the sleeves separately. So I crocheted just about an inch of the sleeves because I was not sure how long I wanted the sleeves. So you can sort of see this line here. I don't mind it, but that marks where I picked up stitches again to keep crocheting a longer sleeve. And you essentially are going to do a reverse raglan. I don't think I've ever seen this in crochet yet, but you know, my garment experience is there are a lot of garment patterns out there that I haven't made, so I don't know, but it is pretty common in knitting to do so. So I watched a couple of knitting videos, and that's how I got the idea, because I did not like how the extended single crochet looks crocheted flat. So when you crochet it back and forth flat, it opens and it's not as close as I wanted the stitch to be. So I just had to envision a way of doing it all in the round, including the sleeves. And I'm super happy with myself, and I'm super happy with this pattern. Like I said, it's still in testing phase, especially because I actually didn't write any instructions for the sleeves. So now when I retest all the other things I've written in the pattern, I have to pay close attention to make sure to provide instructions for how to attach the sleeves and how to go about decreasing around to create your yoke. But I am so, happy doesn't even cover it. It's just, I found crocheting this exhilarating. The challenge it provided, I actually liked it. It tested me and kind of pushed out more creativity than I thought that I had. So I'm very happy with it. But the only unhappy part of me is that I really want to get this out to you guys now so that you and I can share in our love for this pattern, because I really hope you love it. And I can see it not being everybody's cup of tea, but I will be providing some instructions on how to make the torso longer if you don't want to expose a little bit of your belly button, and if you're not into high-waist jeans, which I am, so that's why I don't mind crop tops so much. But I think that's all I'm gonna share about the pattern for now, and you're just gonna have to wait until I release it. I hope you guys enjoy it and enjoy watching it for the moment as much as I am enjoying. I have already the yarn all caked up for the second version. So I had a little bit of a caking party where I kind of took out all the projects that I want to be starting in these months, because even though I'm not going to be joining with some of the cows, like the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, they're hosting a colorwork cal, which I think is great and I really want to join, but since I'm trying to work up so many patterns and finish so many projects, it's a bit out there. I also know that Rosina is going to be hosting a granny cal again, which I actually forgot to wind up my yarn for that, but I will be participating in that, and I'll be making the Jessica shawl. But either way, I did sit down and have a caking party, which, if you know me, I hate winding yarn. So these are the colors for the next Las Nubes test. They are super similar. This one is darker because the base is more of a dark gray blue than a light gray. This is Deep Stash. This is Polyjuice Potion by Kayleen, who is Little Bean Loves. Deep Stash, this one, guys. I bought this 2 years ago. This one is Newer Stash. This is the Bakery Bears. It is BFL nylon base, high twist, and this is Ramus Lupin. And look at, I'm sorry, did I say Polyjuice Potion? This is Peruvian Instant Darkness Powder, and this is Ramus Lupin. But they are so similar that I am going to test my top with these colors again, because I also want to make sure that even though this is wool based and it's single ply, I want to make sure that the pattern works with other fingering weight yarns as well, not just with single plies. So I've got this to test that out, and the medium size that I'm going to test out, I also have single ply yarns for that are also Knit Crate. So all about stash, guys. And it's living in my Valentine's Day bag. This was a gift for Valentine's Day from Mom last year. And I've got Draco and Hermione sitting in a tree. The other thing I've been working on is the Ollivander shawl. So this is Deep Stash because I've been working on it forever. but it is a pattern by Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears. And it's all knotted up right now. And I'm pretty sure that my gauge was a lot looser than hers because I don't actually have enough, I don't know if I have enough yarn to complete the 13 garter rows that I'm supposed to complete here. So this is all I have left. This is like 2 grams of yarn. So I think this is going to be a lot shorter than hers, but we'll see. We will see what I come up with. Essentially, I'm on the last garter section before I start the ribbing, so that's very, very exciting. What's not exciting is that I probably won't have enough yarn. I don't even know if I'm going to have enough yarn for the ribbing and the bind off. I might, and you know, if I don't have enough, I'll just cut the rows shorter, which is what I had to do with it anyway to make sure that I had enough yarn. So either my yardage was off or my gauge was off, but either way, I'm dying to get this off the needles because I really want to start Emma Potter's design. It's the falling leaves scarf, maybe? I know it's part of her hanging rock designs and I'm dying to start it, but this is still getting love and attention. The yarns are from Craftin' Treats, my friend Catherine. She dyed this up ages ago, I'm pretty sure. This is also Deep Stash. This is Best Silk Lingerie, this color here. And this one is Duck Egg, I believe, or yeah, pretty sure it's Duck Egg. And this is in a base that she no longer has. That's how Deep Stash it is. It is in 85% Romney lamb's wool, 5% BFL, and 10% British alpaca. So, yep, this is me knitting this forever. One thing I will say though is that I don't know why I insisted on making this shawl, because I'm not a huge fan of asymmetrical shawls. I just don't know how to wear them, but we'll see. I still love the color choices. I really enjoyed the pattern. If you've never knit a shawl before, this is a good place to start. It's super easy and I haven't had any problems with the instructions or anything, or counting my rows or anything like that. So yay! And it's living in my palm reading bag. Always throw spilled salt over your left shoulder, guys. I do. Every time I cook, I always throw spilled salt over my left shoulder. So those are about the only 2 things I've been crocheting. I've also been crocheting my little coasters. I had calculated I needed to make 12 a day to make it for the wedding. I don't know if that's going to happen, so I might be giving a shout out to some people that contacted me on Instagram and asked if I needed help. I might be writing to you and saying, yes, I do. So for those of you that don't know, the vintage stitch patterns that I'm posting on my blog, I'm using them to make little coasters as wedding favors to give away at my wedding. And I need about 100 coasters if I'm going to give 2 per family or 2 per person. I haven't decided, but I also bought a whole bunch of organza to make my little party bags. So I also need to get on with that. And speaking of sewing, I do have some sewing finished objects to share with you guys. And some of these will be going into the shop. And some of them I'm undecided about what's going to happen. So this is a new design that I worked out for a hook case, right? And I'm going to show you all those different stuff you can put here, because you don't necessarily have to put hook cases in them. I put markers, so sometimes I treat them as pencil cases, and it all works, you know? I'm also going to put some hooks in here to share with you guys. So you can just see all the different things that you can put here. There, now I have things inside to share with you. So this is just a case. It can be a pencil case, as you can see here, or a crochet hook case. It can also be an interchangeable needle case if you knit. I have measured it and it'll fit interchangeable needles, and you just cover them up. And over here you've got a zip, so you can just open that zip. It's fully working, and you go on the inside and lo and behold, you've got a pocket. So you can put your scissors, your stitch markers, your darning needles, which I lose mine all the time. You can put them inside, and then you just roll it up. And you're done. This was super fun to make, and the idea was actually inspired by Mom's Valentine's Day gift slash birthday gift. So for my Valentine's Day gift slash birthday gift, Mom gifted me a set of tulip crochet hooks. And these are the black set. Well, actually it's gray and gold. So for those of you that don't know the difference, because I always wondered why the rose tulip crochet hooks were so much more expensive than the gray crochet hooks. And the rose tulip crochet hooks, the set is way more expensive because it brings 2 more crochet hooks. It brings a total of 10 crochet hooks, and it brings them in smaller sizes. The difference is, for example, this one has a 3.25, 3.5, and I believe the rose set is 3 millimeters and then 3.5, and it doesn't, or is it 3.75? I know if you compare on Amazon, they don't exactly bring the same number of hooks or the same sizes of hooks is what I'm trying to say. Definitely not the same number. The rose has 10, but there's different sizes as well. They have this little case, and they bring a little gauge ruler, scissors, and darning needles, which I'm super happy about, and I have not removed from here because I don't want to lose them. So when I saw this, and it closes with a, I loved this. And I saw it and I looked at it and I was like, I can make this. So this is the results. This will be going up in the Etsy shop as well. And I am over the moon with, you know, how it worked up. I was a bit unsure about the zipper part, but I managed it just fine. And as you can see, it's useful for so much more than crochet hooks. They can be pencil cases. You can fit makeup brushes in here, and like eyeshadow brushes, and you can put some eyeshadows in here if you're traveling, and they'll be protected because it's got batting. It's got some cotton batting, which I'm actually going to be changing because I want fluffier batting. I bought that batting for when I make the cupcakes or the teacups. It works beautifully well for that. But I just trying to put these hooks away now. Sorry. If I don't put them away now, they're going to be all over the place, and then I won't know where they are. So this is one of the crochet hook cases that will be going up in the shop, and one I am ridiculously proud of because of the way I made it. And you know what, now though, looking at it, I don't remember how I made it. I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I made that. I don't remember making that. So the other things that will be going up in the shop are some huge project bags. So this one is one of my favorite fabrics, and I've got none of this fabric left. This is the last of the fabric. And this is Alice in Wonderland. It's a Rifle Paper Co. Cotton and Steel collaboration for Alice in Wonderland fabric. They don't really produce it anymore, so it's kind of limited edition, I think, or at least I'm having a hard time finding more of this. This specific one is not interfaced, so you can smush it down into whatever you are carrying, be it luggage, carry-on, or whatever. But it is interfaced with some hardy cotton fabric. It's just lined, sorry, it's not interfaced, it's lined, and it's got a nice big happy zipper. These I just have to finish sewing up the lining, closing it up on the inside, because my machine wasn't really sewing straight. So I opened it up yesterday, I gave it a clean. There was a lot of threads and batting stuck down there, so that works. And this guy is also the last of this fabric. I've got no more, and it's lined with just some teal fabric, and it's also got a pocket. Nice big handle with my label on it. You can fit your hand through it, which is my objective with all labels. I mean, all handles. Words are really failing me today, aren't they? And this guy, sorry, it's still getting stuck on some threads because I was reattaching some parts of it. But it closes just fine. Just have to finish it, just like the other one. This is in a little bit of a less finished status. Now this one I did interface using some lightweight interfacing, but the fabric is pretty heavy duty, so it also stands up on its own. That's what I have in terms of shop. I haven't finished sewing some of the other ones, so I guess I can show you in its incomplete stage. These are going to be specifically for some interchangeable knitting needles, because I left what I hope is enough of a space to put your cables in when you're traveling. Now that I see it, I probably should have made it bigger, but that's not an issue because, yeah, I think I'm going to make it bigger. That's not an issue. I could just rip out these stitches right there, and then the pocket will be bigger. So this is one, and this is what I'm making with the last of the teacup. I call this my tea fabric. It's beautiful and I love it, and it's also got interfacing and batting and it's just not finished. But it's getting there. So what else have I been up to? I've been reading a lot and I've been loving it. It's been a while since I've read so many books, and I do mean books. For Christmas, my sister got me a book, I think it was called The Christmas Secret or something, and it was Christmas related, but it was more whiskey related, and I absolutely loved it. I feel so educated now in whiskey, and it's a beautiful thing to learn new things, new ideas, new informations, new everything. And I forgot a finished object. So I've also been reading this book called Living Magically. I've been reading it for a year because it's got exercises that you do, and this deals a lot with metaphysics. So I've just marked, you can see I've read it. But I've taken my time with it, and I've truly appreciated everything in the book. And the reason I actually brought it is because I had this finished object in there, which I forgot to share with you last time. And this is a little strawberry. I'm going to link the tutorial down below. It's from Lana Ciovillos. They have a Spanish channel and an English channel, so you can see the tutorial in English as well. But this is just a little strawberry, which I absolutely loved, and I turned it into a bookmarker by crocheting some single crochets and then attaching it. So that's me, and that's marking my page in the book. But the other thing I've been reading and I'm really excited about, I'm also very excited about that Living Magically book. I really love the way Jill Edwards writes, and even though I don't agree, or maybe I haven't wrapped my mind around all the ideas she presents, I still really love the book. other book that I'm really loving is this Cleopatra, A Life by Stacy Schiff. It won a Pulitzer Prize, and this is a full-on history book. I bought it for $3 at the Better World Books website. It's where I try to look for all the books if I want them. They provide free shipping and they're saving books from landfills, so yay. And I'm not sponsored or paid to say that. I pay them for my books. So this is a book about Cleopatra, as it says, and it's beautiful. I love the way Stacy Schiff writes, and she's a historian as well, and I'd never come across her actually, but I've been pretty far gone from my history roots lately, and it's just beautiful. I'm gonna read to you a bit of what Simon Winchester, who was a reviewer, said. He said, "This is an astonishing, scrupulously researched, meticulously assembled retelling of one of the world's most famous lives, and it will become a classic." What I love about this is that while I know that everything I'm reading is fact, it's history, it's written in such a beautiful way that you feel that you're reading a novel, and it's just perfect. I'm going to read to you an excerpt from the bookbinding, and it says, "Her palace shimmered with onyx, garnet, and gold, but was richer still in political and sexual intrigue. Above all else, Cleopatra was a shrewd strategist and an ingenious negotiator. Though her life spanned fewer than 40 years, it reshaped the contours of the ancient world." And that is just how she writes. And I read this book every night, and I love it. I cannot recommend it enough. If you're a fan of history, you would totally love this book. If you've been meaning to reconnect with history like I have, you would totally love this book. And I have nothing else to say about it. It's beautifully written. It's all facts, or as factual as you can get with Cleopatra, because let's face it, Alexandria is no longer available to study. So she's pieced everything together. Sorry, I got distracted. I opened it on a page and just kept on reading. You can see it pulls me in. So I would highly, highly recommend this book if you're a fan of history. She writes beautifully, and I know she's got other books. She's written Vera, which is Vladimir Nabokov, Mrs. Vladimir Nabokov. That's who she wrote a book on. And I also bought another book from her called Witch? I know it has to do with the Salem witch trials, and it's a study on them. Also bought it used from Better World Books, and I can't wait to finish this one to read the other one. I'm more interested in Cleopatra because she's been such a mythical figure, I feel. She's almost legend than I am in the Salem witch trials, but I can't wait to dig into both. So yay for history books. But you know, guys, what else can I tell you? I do have some other crochet projects, but they are secret squirrel projects, as Sandra would say, because they will be coming up soon. Let's just say that. And I don't know, I've got so many designs in my head that I want to share with you guys, and so many ideas. So if you want to keep up with those and with future video tutorials, then don't hesitate to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. You can follow my blog, you can follow me on Pinterest. I'm pretty active on Pinterest, actually. You can follow me on Instagram, as I said. And, you know, comment down below. Join the MAL if you're as excited as I am for this MAL. There's other MALs that are coming out that you can double dip in. For example, Caroline from the Mind and Muse Crafts podcast, she is going to be hosting a mixed media mal. So if you're doing crochet and knit, for example, for that mixed media mal, I'm planning on doing the popcorn pullover, and it's a crochet and knit pattern, so it would count as mixed media. But I'm also going to try and be very ambitious, and I'm going to try and felt something, embroider on it, and then crochet a border. I don't know, I've never felted before, so it will be a challenge, but there are so many good things in the horizon, guys. So I hope that you stay tuned, and I hope that I was able to keep you company while you were crafting today, or while you were working, while you were running, while you were cooking, while you were eating. I just wanted to keep you guys some company today, whichever day you are watching this. So thank you so much for tuning in and making this channel the beautiful thing it is. We have reached episode 60, which is another reason why I'm celebrating with hosting a mal. And of course, just keep crafting, guys. Keep crafting and enjoy every single minute of it. So just spread love and craft with love. Bye!